morning and welcome to Dublin City FM. You're listening to CouncilMatters with myself, Mick FitzGerald, and today we are going to return to a subject that has been of quite concern to some of the citizens in Fairview, Marino and that general area, and it's not the HPV vaccine. That's another subject for another politician. No, it's actually the proposal originally by Dublin City Council to cut down a small forest of trees along the Fairview Park Road between Malahide Road and Ballybock Bridge. And to say that the citizens were distraught about this is to put it mildly. And today we will be joined, first of all, on the line by Edel Leahy. Edel organised a petition opposing this, and later on we will be delighted to have back in the studio Donna Cooney, who's a spokesperson for the Green Party in Clontarf, and Donna was also heavily involved in the campaign to preserve the trees in Fairview Park. So we're going to go over to Edel Leahy, who's coming to us from beautiful downtown Marino. Good morning, Edel.
Good morning, how are you doing?
Edel, I hope I got it right. You were one of the driving forces behind the petition that raised a huge amount of signatures. Now we come back to that in a second, Edel, but can you tell us what's your, how can I put it, connection to this issue in terms of, say, geography, sociology, history, all of that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, I basically use the park a lot. So I'm down there very regularly with my three daughters. I also do the park run down there on a Saturday morning. I volunteer and take part most Saturdays. So really it's just Fairview Park and all along Fairview Strand, and the village of Fairview is very much part of our daily life. I've lived up the road for 17 years, just at the top of Fairview Avenue on Marino Park.
So you'd be as good a native as Brexit would permit, as we say. Yeah. No, I will confess I have quite a long association with Fairview Park. I grew up on Fairview Strand, lived there for 20 odd years, and Fairview Park has a huge significance in terms of my childhood. But look, when you first came across this proposal, Edel, what was your initial reaction?
Well, I suppose it was just disbelief. I noticed the yellow ribbons that Donna had very kindly put on the trees down there, and was answering questions from my daughters about what the reason was for them. I came home and I did what anybody else would do in that situation. I Googled it and I discovered a little bit of mixed messaging online. Some people were saying it was in relation to road traffic accidents. More were saying, no, it's about the fact that Dublin City Council want to fell these trees. So I then contacted my local representatives in DCC and I got some, I suppose, rather kind of baffling replies, because they were like very much along the same vein. The replies that I did receive, they were basically saying, yes, we are felling these trees, but please don't worry, because when the works are done, there will be a net surplus of trees. You'll actually gain more trees than you're losing.
Was that from the council themselves or the elected reps?
The elected reps.
That's an interesting,
so
yeah.
I kind of sat with that, probably for more than I should have, to be honest with you, for maybe a day or two. And the only thing that kept on popping into my head was O'Connell Street.
Yeah.
And I just said, no, this would really change the character of Fairview. And I was like, these trees have got to be possibly older than the ones that were on O'Connell Street. And then I started looking into the history of them. I found Hugo McGuinness's wonderful research on them. And I discovered, wow, these trees are older than the state. And we've got to protect them. And I just really I leapt into it then. I think I put the petition up within hours of finding that out.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. You should mention that the elected reps said that to you, because I've seen very, very little from elected reps in the media. And Dublin City Council, when I contacted them about this issue, they were, I won't say reluctant, but they were not keen to talk about the issue, because they said it was what we would say a work in progress. So I couldn't get a Dublin City Council view on the subject. So that's why, if anybody thinks this is imbalance, simply because they didn't come on. What did anybody give you a reason as to why such a significant change? Is it all coming under the general heading of Cyclepath?
Yes, Cyclepath. It was part of the route that's going from Clontarf to Amiens Street. I did ask what alternatives had been explored. I was shocked to find at the time as well that the time to have officially objected was back in March, and me as a resident didn't know anything about it until I went and researched it myself. That end of it was sort of still sticks in my throat a little bit. No, it was very much it's happening, and don't worry, there's going to be more trees left than there are uprooted. One or two elected reps did say to me, they used the phrase replanting, and I thought, no, these trees would not survive an uprooting and a replanting. So there was various different replies, but all very, 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 very similar. And then thankfully I did come across people like Damien O'Farrell and Neil Ring and Christy Burke and Mannix Flynn, who all supported me on it. But it was only when I really reached out and found that there was support for saving the trees, thankfully that's what we've done.
Yeah, you've got a petition up and running. How many signatures did you collect? I gather it was quite a few.
Yeah, there was 13,000 online, and there's about 2,500 locally in the shops and businesses around Fairview, Marino.
And I also gather the collection of those signatures locally was not without incident.
I believe so. Yeah,
just share this one with the listeners.
I think Donna is the best person to talk about that when she comes on. I wasn't really involved in that end of things, but yes, there was a few ups and downs, but we got there in the end.
We will certainly put that issue to Donna, because I know from talking to her over the last couple of weeks, she was very irate about what we can only call dirty tricks. So at the moment, what's your understanding? I gather it was put to a meeting the other night. Is your understanding, the way it was put to me, is that we've had what I'm calling a volte-face, or in other words, an about-face on the issue. What's your understanding about what's Dublin City Council's current proposal?
Well, they did issue us with a revision document last Monday, with a week to go to their vote. Just up for Monday, just gone, Monday the 4th of September.
Yeah, which was postponed there was a
2-page revision document. It was a very brief document. It didn't contain an awful lot of images that you would expect, for such a material change. The change that they were talking about was say, okay, look, we'll save the trees, or the majority thereof, and we will take a lane of traffic for a stretch along Fairview and put the cycleway in that.
Okay.
Which obviously presents its own problems, but it was such a brief document that you couldn't really decide sort of yay or nay by looking at that, because it was very information light. Thankfully, they decided to go back to the drawing board on Monday night. Now, I don't know what that means. We don't know if they are going to go ahead with this revision and vote on this revision in October, or if when October comes, other changes will have come about, or hopefully other options will have come about, other design options.
Howth Road could easily use that and come out even more safely at Ballybog Bridge, and probably even shorter journey. What's your thoughts on that, or have they even... Annesley Bridge, isn't it? Yeah. Have they even suggested that to you or discussed that with you?
They have. That was something that I did highlight when I invited the councillors, the elected councillors, to read the online petition comments. There's over 13,000 of them, as I said. There's even more on other media outlets around the place. You know yourself, when a newspaper publishes an article about it, you can see hundreds of comments from the public, and very, very many of them are from cyclists and users of the park and residents, and an overwhelming amount of those respondents or commentators would be saying that, yes, what is wrong with the cycle lane that's in the park, or why can't that be upgraded or maintained? And I think personally that is a really good option.
It's the way to go, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the least disruptive one, and I think it's the greener route, and it's shorter than the one that runs outside the park, and it could be very easily achieved when you compare it to the alternatives that are out there.
And I am sure, we know for a start it should be a lot safer, because they're not going to get knocked down by cars or trucks or anything like that. Yeah, and it's unlikely to be in competition with pedestrians, because it's not used all that much. Yeah. Edel, where did your is your campaign ended now, or are you, as we say, keeping a watching brief?
We are very much keeping a very active eye on everything that's been going on and anything that continues to give us coverage on it for a couple of reasons. Number one, what we feel has happened down here in Fairview, Marino, with the likes of the petition and the local shops and businesses getting involved. Damien Duggan started that off down in Duggan's Jewellers. We really feel that we've come together as a community, and because we've had success in terms of what's gone on with the trees and the fact that the council have very thankfully committed to saving them, we want to build on that. We want to build on that momentum, on that positivity. We want to engage as positively as we can with the council and with each other as a community to do the best for the area. So we're keeping things going. One of the key ways that we're doing that is by getting involved in the Friends of Fairview Park clean-up that takes place every month. Very kind of got invited to that by Donna there a couple of weeks ago, and that's something that we're going to really campaign and get out there. And secondly, we're doing an art and writing competition for the local schools or children in the area who want to take part in that. The theme of it is the beauty of trees, the beauty and importance of trees, and we're inviting anybody who'd like to draw, paint, colour, depict their favourite picture of a tree and to drop it into Duggan's Jewellers anytime before the 30th of September.
That's just at the traffic lights at the top of Fairview Park beside Edges.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't miss it. You can't miss it. There's also, for older children, if they're not as interested maybe in colouring and painting as they might not be, we are doing a writing competition where they can write a short piece on why we need trees and submit that in the same way.
And what about photography for people like me who like a bit of a camera work?
Oh, that's a really good idea. We could do an online one of them, actually, because that would save you having to print it. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Edel, I'm going to have to leave you and because I've got Donna in the studio with me now. But look, you're doing great work out there. Keep it up and keep us posted as to what's happening here, because Council Matters will always be happy to air your side of the coin. Yeah.